Good morning, guys. I don't know if you guys are excited for Valentine's Day, but I am because I get to show you guys this video. So, of course, Valentine's Day is coming up, and so I decided to make some pecan cluster candies, of course, that are keto friendly and are low carb. So, I hope you guys really enjoy these. I did personally make these because I love pecan clusters, so I thought I would try and make a candy version of them for Valentine's Day, and I've just been eating them with strawberries and almond milk, and it just tastes so good. I hope you guys like or subscribe and share if you guys like as well. I really enjoy and appreciate your feedback, so just leave a comment below if you guys enjoyed it, if you guys maybe have other ideas, or if you thought it just was a great idea, just let me know in the comments below, and I'd really like that. So I hope you guys give this candy a try, and thanks for watching. So first, to start off this recipe, you want to have the heat at a medium-high heat, just so we can get the pan to warm up a little bit. And then we're going to be adding the 4 tablespoons of butter, and we want them to melt completely. And then we're going to be stirring it every so often, just to make sure that the butter is not completely burning. We just want to make it a darker color, just like in the last video. So once the butter is melted completely, you're going to want to turn down the heat to a lower temperature because it's going to be heating up pretty fastly. We definitely don't want to completely burn this. So you definitely are going to be stirring and stirring the whole time until it gets to that nice brown color. If it's still too hot on the pan whenever you're done making it brown, take it off the pan for a moment and then add the heavy whipping cream. Or if it's not too hot, just go ahead and put it on the pan, but be careful because it usually will bubble up pretty quickly. And so I do recommend taking it off the pan first, let it cool a little bit, and then add it, and then you can go ahead and put it back on to stir it in. Once again, if it is becoming too hot still, because this stove kind of heats up a lot more than what it's needed after it warms up, I have to keep removing it from the stove, so I put it back and on a couple of times. But if you have to do that, that's okay, just as long as it's not cooking too quickly. And then whenever you're ready, just go ahead and start adding in everything else. So the sweetener, and then the water and the salt, and just slowly mix those in. So just pour it in and mix it, pour the next thing in and mix it, just to make sure that it's not going to burn while you're pouring in everything at once. So as you can see, it's nice brown again, and so we're going to be just making sure that we have everything mixed in, and then we're just going to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. And this process does take a while because you're waiting for the mixture to get more thicker and not as liquidy. So we kind of want it to be getting into the thick state where, as you can see here, is more darker and not as watery looking. And so once it gets to that, you're pretty much done. And if you notice, I had added the lemon at this point, and it really isn't necessary. It's just to kind of try to help it from hardening so much, but it's not necessary because the candy is going to be hardened anyways. So that's why that was optional. So now that we're done with that part, we are going to be needing some pecans, and then 2 bars of cocoa or chocolate bars, and I got the 100% unsweetened, and then the Lillys baking bar, so that way we have a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of non-sweet. And then of course I added some sweetener to it just because of the 100% was a little bit too strong for me. So then you're gonna want to get your heart molds if you are doing this for Valentine's or just because you like hearts. And then you're going to want to add all the pecans or chopped pecans into the hearts, and you can fill them up, or you can do it in 2 portions like I did. So I just did it about halfway, and I filled up the rest with the caramel. And you do want to make sure that the caramel is nice and warm still, because it hardens very quickly, and so you're gonna have to keep reheating it over and over again if you're taking too long to do this process. So definitely fill up the pecans all the way as much as you can the first time. That way you don't struggle too much and have to reheat it all over again. So then, of course, just fill all of the hearts as much as you can so you can have that nice heart shape. And then you're going to want to stick it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And then you're going to want to start melting the chocolate once it's very close to being done, so that the chocolate doesn't start getting too thick on you while it's drying. But it is much easier to keep it warmer than it is the caramel. So just make sure you do this right whenever it's done. And then you're just going to be melting about 4 squares of each of the bars, and then some sweetener like is said on the recipe, which I think is half a tablespoon. And then you're gonna just make sure it's all mixed in. And then, of course, whenever it's ready, you're going to pull out your hearts or your pecan cluster candy, and you're going to be taking them out of the mold. And then, as you can see, this is how it looks. So it kind of has like a clearish look to it with the pecans. So then you're going to be dipping these hearts into the chocolate. And so as long as it's not too hot, you can use your hands, of course, but I wouldn't recommend it because you are going to burn yourself if it is right off the stove, of course. So just be careful, and you're going to want to dip it maybe once or twice at least, and you are going to have some chocolate left over, so you're going to want to dip it once, let it cool off, and then dip it again just to get it all fully covered. And I would recommend probably doing it maybe 3 or 4 more times if you really want more chocolate, because it kind of just barely stays on, like especially the first time that you do it, because it kind of wants to melt a little bit. And I'd recommend putting it on a wax sheet of some sort just to make sure it doesn't stick to the plate whenever you're letting it cool down. So this is my pecan cluster recipe, or at least the way that I made it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys.